found an interesting fact on Plant Positive site, which is that Weston Price died in 1948, and I think it's like 50 years later that Sally Fallon and Dr. Mary Enig, founded the Weston Price Foundation. And it just occurred to me, I think it's unlikely that Dr. Weston Price, who was a dentist and who wrote his famous book, which studied other cultures, I doubt that he would be in agreement with some of the positions that the current Weston Price Foundation takes. Now, there's no way to know that for certain because, of course, he's dead. But I find it odd that they kind of rest their foundation on this guy who's an interesting guy. You know, he did some interesting observations, and he was looking at nutrition before a lot of other people were, so that was positive. But he was doing this in a time, long before they could conduct, valuable scientific trials with this kind of research. So he was basically, he was collecting some data, but it wasn't well organized, and it didn't account for lots of variables. So I just think it's really odd. Like, there's an example of a daily regimen that Sally Fallon recommends on the Weston Price Foundation site, where she suggests 70% of the diet be made up of fat. So she has it's something like 15% protein, 15% carbohydrate, and the rest fat. We all know what's going to happen if somebody eats that way. Even paleo adherents, who call themselves paleo adherents, don't eat 70% of their diet fat. And these cultures that Weston Price was studying didn't eat 70% of their diets in fat. So it's just utterly ridiculous. Anyway, just I thought it was an interesting tidbit. The Weston Price Foundation was not founded by Weston Price. And in fact, he died 50 years prior to the start of this so-called Weston Price Foundation. And if you just Google a search of Sally Fallon, as I'm sure many of you have seen, she doesn't look that healthy. So I don't know. You can claim that you've got superior health, but if you look fat, chubby, out of shape, is that really an example of superior health? I don't know. Kind of odd. So anyway, just an interesting bit there. This comes from this was Plant Positive. I found this on. Highly recommend this site if you haven't been there already. He's got amazing videos. I mean, there's so much information in his videos. I think it's plantpositive.com. This particular video is titled Weston Price, and he goes much more into depth on what Weston Price was doing, and it's a great objective review, because some people can get the impression that because the Weston Price Foundation is so bizarre and odd in the way it is addressing saturated fat in the diet, you might think that Weston Price was a total whacked out dude, but he was actually a conscientious guy, a well-respected dentist who had some interesting ideas about nutrition and had the idea to look at some of these older cultures. So, an interesting guy. Anyway, check out Plant Positive if you haven't already. Take care.